Good morning, all of you. Last lecture we have studied history of novel and elements of novel. In this lecture, we are going to learn types of novel. There are many types of novel, such as a realistic novel, picaresque novel, historical novel, epistolary novel, gothic novel, autobiographical novel, allegorical novel, utopian novel, psychological novel, stream of consciousness novel, Bildungsroman novel, science fiction, and detective fiction. So, let us start one by one explanation of novel. First, realistic novel. Realistic novel is a fiction that gives the effect of realism. Sometimes this is also called a novel of manner. It can be characterized by its complex characters with mixed motivates that rooted in the social class. The characters in realistic novel interact with other characters and undergo plausible and everyday experiences. रिअलिस्टिक नॉवेल म्हणजे मराठीमध्ये वास्तववादी कादंबरी की ज्या कादंबरीमध्ये समाजाचं खरेखुरं असं चित्र पात्रांच्या माध्यमातून केलं जातं. बेस्ट एक्झाम्पल ऑफ रिअलिस्टिक नॉवेल इज जॉन ग्रीन्स पेपर टाउन. Next novel, picaresque novel. The word picaresque is originated from the Spanish word picaro, which means a rough. A picaresque novel narrates the adventure of protagonist who is the eccentric or the disputable person in an epidemic form. पिकारेस्क्यू नॉवेल म्हणजे मराठीमध्ये प्रवास वर्णने की जे प्रवास वर्णन अतिशय खडतर आणि ॲडव्हेंचरस धाडशी असा प्रोटॅगनिस्ट असणारं असतं. बेस्ट एक्झाम्पल ऑफ पिकारेस्क्यू नॉवेल इज डॉन क्विक्झोट written by Michael the Carvant. Next, historical novel. A historical novel is a novel set in a period earlier than that of the writing. Here, हिस्टॉरिकल नॉवेल मीन्स ऐतिहासिक कादंबरी की जी इतिहासावर अवलंबून असते, ज्यातील पात्र जी आहे ती इतिहासामधली असतात. फॉर एक्झाम्पल द गाईड रिटन बाय R.K. नारायण. Epistolary novel. The word epistolary derives from the Latin word epistola, which means a letter. The epistolary novel is that in which the writer presents the narrative through a series of correspondence or the documents. Although letters are the most common basis of epistolary novel, diary entries are also popular form of this type. Epistolary novel इपिस्टोलरी हा जो वर्ड आहे तो लॅटिन भाषेतून घेतलेला आहे. इपिस्टोला ह्या शब्दापासून घेतलेला आहे आणि इपिस्टोला ह्या शब्दाचा अर्थ पत्रव्यवहार असा होतो. इपिस्टोलरी नॉवेल ह्या डायरी फॉर्ममध्ये त्यानंतर पत्रव्यवहार ह्या फॉर्ममध्ये असतात. मोस्ट पॉप्युलर इपिस्टोलरी नॉवेल इज डॅडी लॉंग्स लेग्स रिटन बाय जेन वेबस्टर. नेक्स्ट, गथिक नॉवेल. The novel that includes terror, mystery, horror, thriller, supernatural doom, death, decay or haunted buildings are called Gothic novels. इथं तुम्ही गथिक नॉवेल भय कादंबरी असं सुद्धा म्हणू शकता की ज्यामध्ये टेरर आहे, मिस्ट्री आहे, गूढ आहे, हॉरर आहे, थ्रिलर आहे, सुपरनॅचरल पॉवर्स आहेत, डेथ आहे, डिके आहे. बेस्ट एक्झाम्पल ऑफ गथिक नॉवेल इज The Castle of Otranto, written by Horace Walpole. Next, autobiographical novel. The autobiographical novel is the novel based on the life of author. However, the author changes the place and names of characters or even may change or avoid the certain details of his life. It may or may not be the first person narration. Autobiographical novelमध्ये जी नॉवेल आहे ती ऑथरच्या लाईफवर बेसड असती, त्याच्या लाईफवर असती आणि ऑथर ठरवतो की तो प्लेस चेंज करू शकतो, नेम कॅरेक्टरची पात्रांची नावं चेंज करू शकतो, त्यानंतर त्याच्या आयुष्यामधल्या काही ज्या डिटेल्स आहेत त्यासुद्धा हाईड करू शकतो. Best example of autobiographical novel is Mohandas Gandhi autobiography, the story of my experiments with truth, written by Gandhi, M.K. Gandhi. Next, allegorical novel. Allegory An allegory is a story that bears more than one level of meaning. The surface meaning of such a novel is different from the symbolic. Allegoric नावे इथं तुम्ही म्हणू शकता की रूपक, जे वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारची रूपक अलंकार ह्या कादंबरीमध्ये वापरले जातात. फाईन एक्झाम्पल ऑफ allegorical novel is Pilgrim's Progress, written by John Bunyan. Next, utopian or dystopian novel. Utopia is an imaginary community or society possessing the ideal qualities. It is a common literary theme, especially in science fiction or speculative fiction. Fine example of utopian novel is Lost Horizon, written by James Hilton. Next, psychological novel. Psychological novel is work of fiction that treats the eternal life of protagonists or even other characters as such as the eternal factors. The Portrait of Lady, written by Henry James, is the best example of psychological novel. Next, stream of consciousness novel. Stream of consciousness is a phrase coined by William James in his treatise Principle of Psychology in 1890. It means flow of thoughts. Incident in plot are in the sequence of occurrence. The novelist narrates them as enter the mind of the character. Stream of consciousness नॉवेलमध्ये ही जी फ्रेज आहे ती विल्यम जेम्स यांनी प्रिन्सिपल ऑफ सायकोलॉजी या पुस्तकामध्ये पहिल्यांदा मांडलेली आहे. इट मीन्स फ्लो ऑफ थॉट, म्हणजे माणसाच्या डोक्यात जसे विचार येतात, जसे विचार त्या कादंबरीमध्ये मांडणे, त्याला वयाला आणि वेळेला असं अंतर नसतं. बेस्ट एक्झाम्पल ऑफ स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस नॉवेल इज द लाईटहाऊस, रिटन बाय व्हर्जिनिया वुल्फ. Next, Bildungsroman novel. The German word Bildungsroman indicates growth. The fictional biography or autobiography is concerned with the growth of the protagonist's mind, spirit, the characters from the childhood to adulthood. In the first half 20th century, a cult of pulp magazines became popular, in which fantastic fiction for the general entertainment of masses were printed on the sheet of pulp paper. The pulp fiction era provided the building ground the detective novels and science fiction. Also, best example of Bildungsroman novel is The Way of the World, written by Francisco Moretti. Next, science fiction. Science fiction is genre of speculative fiction dealing with the imaginative concepts such as a futuristic setting, futuristic science, technology, space travel, time travel, parallel universe, and science fiction often explore the potential consequence of science and other innovations. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley is considered the first science fiction. Best example of science fiction is Civil War. Next and last, detective fiction is the subgenre of crime fiction, of mystery fiction, in which an investigator or detective, either professional or amateur, investigate crime, often murdered. Best example of detective fiction is The Mysteries of the World. So, I hope you understand.